As the Allies advanced deeper into Germany, the fall of cities no longer carried the same meaning it once had. The capture of Limburg, a small city a few miles northwest of Frankfurt, was just another mark on the fast-growing list of towns taken by the Allied forces. What mattered now was not territory, but the collapse of an empire, the death throes of a regime that had drenched the world in blood and terror for over a decade. The people of Germany, once the proud followers of the swastika, now found safety beneath the white flag of surrender. Their shouts of Heil Hitler had fallen silent, replaced by weary submission. In Limburg, a German spokesman read aloud the orders of the Allied military government to a tired and broken population. The Nazi leaders had urged their people to fight to the end, to rise as werewolves and continue the war by any means necessary. But the people had no more spirit for such madness. Instead of wolves, they had become sheep, grateful simply to survive. The Allied advance pressed onward. General Patton's Third Army rolled down the broad concrete lanes of Hitler's Autobahn toward Frankfurt, the third largest city of the Reich, and one of its last great prizes. The scenes of battle had become repetitive now. The final bursts of resistance, the sudden silence, the white flags fluttering from shattered windows. The mighty cities that once boasted of Nazi strength now lay in ruins. Frankfurt was no different. Once vibrant and proud, it now stood as a monument to the destruction Hitler had brought not only to Europe but upon his own nation. Rubble filled the streets, and the people who had once cheered his rise now trudged through the wreckage of his fall. Everywhere, propaganda posters still clung stubbornly to the walls, urging men, women, and even children to keep fighting. But the fear of the Gestapo was fading fast, and beyond the reach of their guns and truncheons, most Germans no longer needed convincing. They knew the truth: Hitler had lost. Ironically, the same people who had once benefited from the plunder of occupied Europe now turned on themselves. For 4 long years, the spoils of conquest had flowed into Germany. Now, with the war closing in from all sides, the looting turned inward. Shops were stripped bare. A train loaded with clothing, meant for distribution deeper into the country, was overrun by desperate men and women. Their frantic hands tore at anything they could find, an image that captured the moral and physical disintegration of a once disciplined people. The chaos spread unchecked. Soldiers and civilians alike abandoned all sense of order and purpose. What had once been the Third Reich, a machine of terrifying precision and control, was now rotting from within. Discipline was gone. Authority was gone. The ideology that had promised a 1,000-year Reich was collapsing in just 12. Germany, once feared across continents, was crumbling before the eyes of the world, dying not with the defiance of a warrior, but with the despair of a people who finally saw the ruin their own hands had built. The Reich that had risen on lies, violence, and blind obedience was sinking into its dishonorable grave, leaving behind a nation in ashes and a people haunted by the shadow of their own creation.